Hello. Today we have something extra special to unbox. Generations Selects Deluxe Transmutate. Since it is the spooky season, the general idea for this video was going to be to find the creepiest transformer I could possibly find to do a video on. And as you'll soon see, Transmutate arguably outshines every other possible contender in that category. This specific iteration references her infamous first appearance in the Beast Wars. Now, if you clicked on this video, there's a good chance you already know all about Transmutate, and you possibly might have some strong opinions about the story. And that's awesome. Actually looking into this story more and seeing the debate that's happened over the past about it, I'm convinced the writers of Beast Wars actually did an excellent job of telling a true horror story. Transmutate began her life as a maximal protoform whose stasis pod had been badly damaged when it fell to Earth. When an earthquake unearthed her stasis pod, Maximals and Predacons alike descended upon her, mostly out of curiosity but also hoping to pull her to their ranks. Transmutate, however, was discovered to be malformed with a bizarre-looking face. She was mute and childlike, and many of the Transformers had very different responses to this. Many thought she should just be destroyed or locked away permanently. They were confused by her and didn't understand her and wanted to have nothing to do with her. However, they still inevitably fought for control over her. And in response to the violence, Transmutate let out a powerful and terrifying scream. On the surface level, the horror experienced in this episode was by the Maximals and Predacons. Her misshapen body, strangely human-like facial features, and the power that she seemed to possess were all but too much for even the leaders of the Maximals and the Predacons to take. And ultimately, Transmutate dies when she throws herself between a battling Rampage and Silverbolt. It's really a tragic story no matter how you look at it. But the real, true horror of this excellent story is actually experienced through Transmutate's eyes. Within minutes of her coming into existence, she is met with derision, disdain, and real physical violence. Unable to transform and unable to speak for herself, she is immediately pulled into a tug-of-war between two rival factions. Rampage, who saw a kindred spirit in Transmutate, dissuaded Megatron from simply just having her destroyed. However, Megatron did say that she could only join their ranks by bringing him the head of some Maximals. They used her as bait to trap and attack Silverbolt and attempted to force her to finish him off, but she refused to do it. Inferno lashed out at Transmutate and was met with another sonic scream. Optimus Primal then arrived, beat up Rampage a little bit, and then convinced Transmutate to return to the Axalon with him. There, the Primals ran many tests on Transmutate and determined that she was a danger to herself and others. Once again, without any agency of her own, unable to speak to defend herself, they made the decision that she should be put into a stasis lock. Silverbolt was the only one who attempted to defend her. Once again, no doubt feeling trapped and alone, Transmutate roamed the halls of the Axalon until she heard Rampage calling out for her. Silverbolt gave chase and found the pair and immediately started fighting with Rampage. They each fired missiles at the other, and Transmutate chose to throw herself in between them, attempting to stop the missiles, but unfortunately falling short. Her final words were truly haunting. As I said earlier, the true horror of this story, I believe, is the way others chose to treat Transmutate, something they saw as different from them. There have been countless discussions over the years in internet forums and YouTube comments about this episode, and many can see very direct analogies between Transmutate and modern understandings of mental and physical disabilities. In reality, at least as it pertains to the cartoon, she is mostly an unfinished robot with just some bad or broken code. But the genius, I think, of the story is how universal it is and how anyone can relate to it. Anyone who has ever felt like they were an outsider for any of a number of different reasons. Whether you've had some sort of actual physical or mental ability of some kind that was different from others, or you just feel like an outcast, or you just simply feel different. There are a lot of people who go through this sort of thing and don't always feel like they can speak up for themselves or defend themselves. And it's in that sense that I think this is truly a horrific tale, because Transmutate is thrust into this world of violence that she didn't ask for, and all she sees is, for the most part, people who are acting against her best interest, people who are just pulling her back and forth, and she's not really given the agency to make her own decisions. And that's the real horror. That's the tragic part of this story. And ultimately, I do think it is a very dark story. There's no happy ending in this. There's no silver lining. The closest we might be able to get to that is in the characters of Rampage and Silverbolt, both who actually tried to defend Transmutate. Rampage saw something of himself in Transmutate, and Silverbolt just understood that we should treat everyone with respect regardless of what we may see as different about them.
The things coming out of these pods is just getting weirder and weirder. We should welcome what is different, not fear it.
Ultimately, however, those sentiments were not enough. Transmutate's life in this episode began with violence and ended in tragedy. The first time we hear her horrific screams, we are struck with fear. She looks scary, she sounds scary, and those screams are just absolutely terrifying. And we fear them because they seem to come from a powerful place, but also a place of evil. But ultimately, we realize that's not it at all. They are screams of pain.
No, stop!
So now let's talk about this action figure itself. This, I believe, is the third iteration of Transmutate that we've seen. The first version was actually a Build-A-Figure that came out in, I believe, around 2006. It was part of the Beast Wars 10th anniversary, and it came in, as a Build-A-Figure, you would get a piece with different other characters that you purchased, and you have to put them all together. It also makes the original pretty hard to come by. I think I checked eBay for that version of the figure and couldn't find a completed figure, but just various parts. So the downside of that is that original figure is the one that most closely mimics what we saw in the Beast Wars cartoon. It's very accurate too. It's just misformed robot mode. But there was a second version that was from Timelines. It was a redeco of Prime First Edition RC. And then we have this version here, which is the Generations Selects War for Cybertron Kingdom. And it is a redeco of Paleotrex. And as a result of that, of course, it's a fossilizer and turns into a T-Rex. Like I said in the intro to the video, I originally was just looking for the creepiest Transformer I could find with an idea of making sort of a fun little Halloween-themed October video. As you can check by the date, I was a little late on that and not really concerned about that because this ultimately became just a video about specifically Transmutate, whose character I find actually very intriguing. As for the figure itself, it's got this sort of blue and copper tones with the nice gradient, and I actually like the way they work together. I think that it looks pretty cool. And the current mode I have here, I believe, is an idea I took from, I think, maybe the Prime versus Prime channel. If you're watching this video, you surely know that. A wonderful channel. And this was the mode that sort of most closely resembled the cartoon, and I think that is correct, and it looks really cool. It stands well, and it's a fun way to pose her. But of course, she is a part former, so you can just take her apart, break her down, and kind of rebuild her pretty much however you want, which can be kind of fun. But right now, we'll switch to the version that we saw originally in the package, the sort of original intended form for this figure. So here you can see how Transmutate breaks down into all sorts of fun little parts. I'm going to do my best to put her together on camera so you can kind of see how that works with a little guide to the side. She's fairly new to me, so I haven't done a lot of transforming of this figure, part forming of this figure, but I will try to keep it as accurate as possible. And let's see, so, and kind of show you how it's done. So we need we've got these, we need to just stick the feet at the bottom of the legs. That's simple enough, right? Where's our other foot? Here we go. Pop that back. Okay. Now we need some arms. We have this bit. Wait, we haven't. Do I need this bit in the middle here? Well, let's do the arm, I believe, is just going to go. No. We need this bit. See, this is fun for everybody. Just trying to put these things together. I think we're going to go like this. Perhaps. Yes. And then we'll stick a hand on here. Oop. There we go. Another, actually we could have used that on that side, but maybe we'll just use it on this side. It is a part former. We have freedom. So we're gonna put this on this side, put her hand in there, and then we can change her up a bit and maybe give her this as a weapon, these bones here. We can get those in there. There you go. So that's the basic bot transformation for the character, and this is posable as well. You can have some fun with this. Making her stand up in this mode is a little trickier. It can be done, but you have to kind of give her a bit of a lean, perhaps depending on where the arms are, but it is possible. Maybe I'll do that in photos, so I'm not gonna mess with this too much. But this is another variation for her. As you can see, she looks pretty cool. We got a little T-Rex head on the back, which kind of works. Again, this is not what her original character looked like. This is Paleotrex redeco with a different head, very importantly. But it's still a really cool figure and a really creepy figure. And I like this quite a bit. So let's now switch her to T-Rex mode, which is not anything she ever was, but hey, Beast Wars, right? It works with the motif, so we'll change that now. And there we have it. And please don't judge me, but this is my best effort at putting together the T-Rex mode for Transmutate. With a little work, and the more you get used to the way the bits and pieces work, I'm sure you can do a better job. And she's still posable and will stand. You just got to put a little work into it, like I say, to get her just right. But she is pretty cool. She can, this is not cartoon accurate, but you can turn her into a dino and have her attack Silverbolt if you want. Not sure why you do that though, because Silverbolt and Rampage were actually quite friendly to Transmutate. But regardless, this is the T-Rex mode. And again, I mean, it does look cool as a fossilizer, as a T-Rex, and you can have some fun with it. But I definitely prefer the mode that most makes her look like she does in the cartoon. That mode looks pretty awesome and is a lot of fun to work in with some of your other Transformers figures if you want. Again, like I say, I do love this because she's so different, so unique. And yes, kind of creepy looking, but as we learned from the cartoon, that's probably more about us than about her. But this figure, on the whole, I'm quite happy I purchased it. I'm gonna have fun posing it and putting it somewhere on the shelf eventually. And I think she's just a really cool figure and actually a really cool story. And I do look forward to learning more about Transmutate. As always, I'm sure folks will have things to say about Transmutate. At least I hope you do. Her story in Beast Wars was, I think, really incredible and really interesting, and I'd love to hear what other folks have to say about it and about her character. And as always, I really appreciate you watching. If you like it, please like the video, please subscribe, and we'll make more content like this, and we'll just continue to have fun looking at the new figures, the old figures, and just anything else that we just, can't let go of in our childhood. That's what this channel is all about. So have a wonderful day.